Did
in
you
a
see
way
that
to
piece in
elect our economic
Bloomberg a
leaders.
couple of weeks ago, arguing that Facebook and Amazon needed to have representation in the United Nations?
Yeah,
Because
but it's kind of silly though. It's overblown. Like companies are very powerful, but I mean that's taking it to a silly extreme.
you know how much sway they hold in our culture, ability to control the conversations we have, the facts of the things that we might consume. You know, you and I were talking the other week about you know, like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and the fact that, you know, tech put its thumb on the scale.
I mean,
like, TikTok
literally censored me for talking about it.
Hey, you've been reinstated.
Oh, I agree. But only because I'm a blue check and have the ability to raise a storm about it. Most people don't get to speak freely about those topics.
I don't trust these people as much as you do.
Well,
oh, he's a blue check.
Yeah, on Twitter.
I didn't know I was in the company of such illustrious oligarchs.
We have the power to change things. You know, the blue check class. Yeah.
We can lobby and get it done.
I just want to say, because you know I know there's always the free market contention. It's on a fundamental level. I think when we talk about economic freedom, so often what we're talking about is the ability to dominate those around us through economic success, whether it's meritocratic or not. You know, when we're talking about people like Bezos or Elon Musk, this is more money than God. They're more money than they'll ever need. It's at that point really just a element of status, an icon of power. Doesn't really serve much practical purpose outside being a measuring stick for the well-being of their company.
No, it serves a massive societal purpose. Jeff Bezos made his billions by helping millions of people get affordable products delivered to their door. The societal purpose of those property rights is enormous.
The money accrued suggests a social worth fulfilled, undeniably, but in his hands, with his control. This is where I take issue. You could have an Amazon. Amazon has its worker and ecological issues, but if we're just to focus on worker ownership, you could have an Amazon where a figure like Jeff Bezos isn't some, you know, he was a tech guy in a garage and he made billions, and now he's like this weird dude who nobody really likes, but he's very powerful. You could instead have him be like the real leader of Amazon. You want to have Amazon have a seat at the United Nations? What better an argument to make than if he were democratically elected, like a real leader? Of course, I still don't want him there, but I just think people with tremendous amounts of power should be chosen, you know, by the people who they represent.
But I think they were chosen by the market. In that case, I mean, he got that by millions of people choosing to use Amazon, choosing to make and benefit from it. I mean, economic studies show for innovators, they get about 2% of the wealth they create out in the total economy. Right? That's literally a study by a Yale economist.
People chose Bezos's products to get the packages to their door. They wanted convenience, and what they've gotten is Amazon meddling in every industry, from defense to movie making to home delivery to free speech on various platforms. Like, Amazon is not now the company that does that, but people are locked into it because they don't want to go to the grocery store anymore.
I've criticized a bunch of things Amazon has done. I'm not a shill or a simp for Bezos, but I will just say, every single day, they satisfy millions of people's needs. We take a lot of stuff for granted in 2021. It would have been unthinkable 20 years ago that you could just look something up and get an affordable, cheap version of it delivered to your door the same day or the next day, right? We should not take for granted that.
We should not, absolutely. But there's a big difference between somebody being chosen through democratic mandate within a company and somebody being chosen because they sit at the top of a very useful corporation. You know, even if you took away the state monopoly, there are problems with that. That'd be like having U.S. presidential elections where everyone on Earth gets to vote because everyone's affected by it, and we Americans just have to live with the consequences. With regards to like Bezos, you can imagine a bunch of externalities where you could have a lot of social harm being done by maybe there's a product that people really, really want, but the person who's fielding that is, doing some monstrous stuff to their workers, or they're dumping chemicals into the river. There's a difference between what customers are economically incentivized to do and what good democracy means.
Well, and that's why I'm not an anarchist. There's a basic role for government to stop people from throwing toxic waste into the river, right? But within those confines, in free market capitalism, profit seeking leads you to serve the needs of others. And all the issues that you identify, whether it's inequality or rigged systems, often come back to things like corporate welfare and big government regulations that are written by lobbyists. I mean, that's the fundamental problem I have with people that push the state or they push the welfare state as a solution. Even what Democrats are doing now, and I don't presume that you support this, right? But they're pushing hundreds of billions in subsidies for these green energy companies. And a bunch of tax cuts that are actually going for the rich and tax loopholes. And it's like, so even when you elect people who promise to use the government and spend trillions to uplift the working class, it ends up going to the powerful.
This is, where Vaush said something about like economic opportunity as a means to dominate other people. I resonate with what you're saying, Brad, because when you talk about like making a business or a product that you want to create, you have to have a service mindset if you want to actually succeed in that. I don't think of a person wanting to create a taco cart for their neighborhood's corner or an ice cream store nearby as a way of dominating other people. They're trying to unlock opportunity for themselves, and they have to think about the needs of others. Every time my daughter wants to start a business, because kids like are always wanting to turn their hobbies into businesses, they want to craft something or they want to go to the farmer's market and sell their macaroni necklaces, I have to tell her, like, do you think people want to buy this? And I will just tell her again and again, like, if you approach business from a self-serving viewpoint, you're never going to sell an item. You have to put your mind in other people's shoes, and that's how you succeed, and that's why capitalism works. But I want to move us on because we could get hung up here forever.
Could I close with one thought?
Yes, please.
Oh, just one last thought. I just want to say that the economic forces that you're referring to, the ones with the positive change and all that, I understand and I agree that there's a tremendous amount of power to that. I just think those forces would still be functional if these companies were democratically controlled, not by the state, but by the workers. After all, when we talk about Amazon fulfillment and the glory that that service provides us, we're not talking about Bezos. He may have got the thing rolling, but right now he's pretty much just the owner. We're talking about, the thousands of workers, engineers, tech people, and they have no say, not in a damn thing that goes on over there, and I think that's kind of a tragedy. I think that, at the end of the day, if I get a package same day, I don't thank Bezos. I thank the guy who brings it to me. I thank the delivery man. But I know they have no power. I know that of the thousands, the hundreds of thousands who are complicit in the supply chain that brings that to me, they get nothing. They get scant wages. There's just a guy up at the top and a couple guys beneath him. I just think that you could maintain all of these goods without electing through economic mandate some oligarchical private managerial class that fundamentally impedes democracy through the resources they have exclusive control over, the power they bring to the table. I just think at the end of the day, I want to reduce power to the hands of as many people as possible, whether it's political or economic power. As I want that spread as thinly as I can, like butter on toast.